Hi. Questions are a great place to start scientific discovery. Sometimes, a simple question can produce big results. Like Newton's question about an apple falling from the tree, or Einstein's question about light. I'm Mr. Paradigm, and today I have something for you to think about. The answers will give us a whole new perspective on our ideas of dimension and symmetry. Don't panic. Our journey will walk you simply through the answer step by step. Let's start with a dot. You can see the black dot on the screen, okay? Our simple question is, how do we recognize the existence of that dot? General people may say that because there's a dot and its perceptual process. But if we think about it carefully, there's one more factor. That is the area surrounding our dot. For instance, if I have a sheet of black paper, and I move our dot onto it, then the dot becomes invisible. If we change the paper color to yellow, the dot becomes visible again. If we change the color of the dot to yellow, it will no longer be visible on the yellow background. So, if we want to see it again, we need to change the paper color. So this demonstrates the significance of context. The principle of requiring context we will call the contextual principle. Based on this principle, a dot needs a surrounding area that is different from itself to allow its appearance or create its meaning as a dot. Let's see how far the contextual principle will take us. Taking that a context is essential for the appearance of the dot. If we need to create the perfect dot based on the principle, we also need to provide it with a context. To demonstrate, I'll use two balls, one black and one yellow. A ball represents a dot. This black ball here represents a dot. Based on the contextual principle, this ball is not truly visible yet, because it lacks context. So, I'll use the yellow balls on either side, sandwiching the black ball, to serve as its context. Now, we can say that the black ball is perfectly visible, based on the principle of requiring context. But don't forget that the visibility of the yellow ball is based on the very same principle as well. That means the yellow balls need context too. So, I need to sandwich the yellow balls with two more black balls in order to serve as the yellow balls' context. At this point, some of you may be able to see that our principle is forcing us to add the balls indefinitely. No matter which dot is added, that dot would need the next dot to serve as its context. So, we can see that our principle is changing our one dot that we have at the beginning and turning it into an endless line. The interesting part here is that if we apply this series of actions repetitively, we can develop the line into other forms. Let's see this in detail. I'll keep only a section of the line to make it short and hide the rest. Then, change all the ball colors to black. Once done, the contextual principle starts working the same way it did with the dot, and creates a long series of sandwiching the black line between two yellow line colors. A single line is then turned into a huge sheet with boundless edges on all sides. We'll now change all the ball colors to black so our sheet is all black. Again, the contextual principle starts working by adding yellow layers on either side of the black sheet, the black on either side of the yellow sheets, etc., with endless alternate layers of black and yellow sheets. This is a pattern of coexistence with a higher level of complexity. Now let's change all the ball colors to black and we'll get a black cube. Again, the contextual principle starts working and creates an infinite wrapping of cubes in different colors. For the last pattern, I'll use this symbol to represent the wrapping. So, our one simple question can lead us onto a very long journey. It gives us the principle for the need of a context to any object. When we apply this principle to a dot, we can follow the development of the relationship between an observed object and its context to 4 levels. One noteworthy point is we can see the difference between the commonly known dimensions and the dimension created based on the contextual principle. Based on the general understanding, a line is a one-dimensional or 1D form with just length. A sheet is a two-dimensional or 2D form with width and length. and a round relief, consisting of width, length, and height, is a three-dimensional or 3D form. However, from our recent experience, the line was created in the first order, and the sheet was created in the second. But the round relief was somehow created in the fourth order. So, we now have a form created in the third order, and we'll call it thickness, which does not fit into the general perception of dimensions. At this point, we now have one more question to consider. Is context really essential? If the answer is yes, we may need to reconsider our understanding about the order of dimensions, as it doesn't allow for the need of a context. We'll now talk about symmetry. If we closely examine, each form that we create is symmetric. We can see that if we cut each form into two parts and overlay one on the other, it will perfectly fit. If we explore it further, we'll see that symmetry of the lower dimensions can hide itself in symmetry of higher dimensions. Or the other way around, a higher symmetry can present its own unique form as well as containing the signature of their internal lower symmetry forms. Many of you may ask why we don't bring up the issue of round relief now. We'll leave the discussion of round relief to a later time, as this form is not just a solid object and it involves too much detail for our current discussion. In order to recognize the hidden internal symmetry in round relief, we will need a deeper understanding. I hope that we will have a chance to discuss more on this topic in the near future. Back to symmetry. Another noteworthy point is the image of a lower symmetry form can be rearranged by gradually increasing the symmetric complexity, and it can still maintain its own unique symmetric form. For this topic, we'll see it in animation. You can now see that the higher complexity didn't remove the signature of the context of dots, lines, and sheets. We now come to a break in our journey for the time being. We've looked at the development of dimensions and symmetry based on logical methodology. Even though the benefits of what we've discussed so far are not yet apparent, the discovery of the pattern in the nature is essential. So, it's possible that it may have some benefits in the future. For instance, one day if we find that our physical world is based on the contextual principle proposed, that means our development diagram is trying to tell us something about this world that we live in. Thanks for watching. Good day.